welcome to Diecast Restos. I'm Jason and this is a Matchbox Major Pack M2B. This Major Pack consists of a Bedford TK tractor and a York Freightmaster trailer. This model pairing replaced the Bedford Walls ice cream truck and trailer in 1961. It remained in production until 1966. My example is missing the trailer doors and one of the dual trailer wheels has broken away from its hub. This colour scheme is the earliest offered on the M2B and I'll be restoring it as such today to look more akin to this. Here's a real tractor and trailer Bedford TK which the cab is based on. I've sourced my reproduction parts from Steve Flowers Model Supplies. That includes the decals, which you can see have a different tyre tread on the Davies Tires logo. The M2B brought improvements over the old Bedford S-Type based M2A. The newer TK cab design had a green tinted window piece, while the much larger trailer had an opening set of rear doors. If you'd like to see how the older model looked, check out my restoration of one. I'll leave a link in the top right corner. The first M2Bs had an orange cab, trailer base plate and rear doors. The trailer body was painted silver and the cab base plate was black. Each trailer side had Davies Tires decals and the front had a York Freightmaster decal. This version could have knobbly black or grey plastic wheels, with fine tread black or grey wheels appearing on later issues. The final run with Davies Tires decals had a silver painted cab, a dark red trailer and a black base plate for it. This same livery remained for the final issue, but the Davies Tires decals were replaced. Instead, it had yellow, black and red LEP International decals. This version can be found with a black or dark red base plate and doors. Grey wheeled and silver cab Davies Tires M2Bs are the most difficult to come by. There was no replacement for the M2B when it was discontinued in 1966. Introduced in 1960 by Bedford, a division of Vauxhall Motors, the TK was designed as a versatile medium-duty truck. I went into detail about the Bedford TK in my criminally underviewed Matchbox 7.5 ton tipper restoration video from 2021. I highly recommend you go and check that one out. Again, I'll leave a link to that here. Without delving into the past over Bedford and the TK, it means I can tell you about the York Trailer Company, which the model's trailer is based on. As young men, James Baird and Fred Davies went to Canada. Davies pursued a career in selling truck trailers, while Baird was a senior executive in vehicle manufacture. The pair left their North American employers to set up the York Transport Equipment Group based in Toronto. A subsidiary, Davies Truck Equipment, was also established in Rexdale, Ontario. Davies visited Britain in around 1954 looking for export sales, and by 1955 York Trailer was incorporated in England. Based in Burnley, the company produced detachable stake and rack superstructures on its range of semi-trailers in 1957. In 1960, they announced a new type of trailer called the trombone, which could be extended from its regular length of 26 feet to 40 feet. This made it suitable to transport long, indivisible loads. From 1961, the company began manufacturing basic components that were previously brought in under the subsidiary York Technical Services Limited. These included axles, fifth wheel couplings and landing gears. These components would go on to be sold to other companies. York Trailer was floated on the stock market in 1966 and they opened their first manufacturing plant in Corby. York acquired Anthony Carrymore in 1976, a County Durham-based trailer company with their range complementing York's. A market slump then saw the Corby plant close with a loss of 60 jobs. However, the factory continued to assemble kits from Carrymore's factory prior to export. In 1977, York acquired Scammell Trailers from British Leyland. London firm Bunzl took over York Trailers, but would sell its subsidiary in 1988. York went into receivership in 1991 with debts of £30 million, but it was later bought out by businessman Duncan Wordsworth. By 1997 though, York were again in trouble. Following a lack of orders, management laid off the entire staff before the firm was taken over by US-based company Utility. Utility provided a £7 million investment in the company, and it was renamed to Utility International. 80 jobs were created in 1998 on the back of a £2.5 million order, which alongside other orders increased the company's output to its highest level since its 1991 bankruptcy. However, in July 2002, the company went into voluntary liquidation. As for the advertisements on the side of the York Freightliner trailer for Davies Tires, I've managed to scrape together a little information. The company originated in 1880 as St Davies & Co. They manufactured and were wholesalers of bicycles and cycle accessories, based in Bethnal Green, London. After 1918, the bicycle side of the business was sold, and they concentrated instead on the sale of British and Continental tyres. The company then moved premises to Euston Road, renamed to the Davies Tire Company, and began manufacturing tyres in 1924. Their offerings included a complete car range as well as giant tyres. In 1929, the company again moved premises to the Hyde in Barnet. They also had branches in Bristol, Leeds, Manchester, Tunbridge Wells and Walsall. They produced the Davies steel cord racing tyres used in the early days of motor racing. The last mention I could find of the company was in 1961, the same year this model was released. That was in the listings of exhibitors at the 1961 Motor Show at Earls Court, London. If you happen to know more about the fate of the Davies Tire Company, let us know down in the comments. Anyway, let's take a look at what's going on with the build. You could easily assume we're basically at the conclusion of this one, but you'd be very wrong indeed. I've just applied the Mr Hobby Topcoat gloss over the trailer and thus over the decals. Not for the first time, the decal paper used by Steve Flowers Model Supplies has reacted badly to the clear coat. I also had this problem on the Matchbox 73B Ferrari F1 model. In that video, I had two models, so I did without the top coat on one of them. This I only have one example of, so I need to fix it. I'm putting it together here so I can take some turntable footage of it, which you'll see later. I'm hoping I can rectify the creasing without a full respray. It made for an impromptu decal comparison though. These are the same offerings from Black Square Decals, and there are clear differences. I thought I'd try removing the decals the same way you can remove modern tampos from castings using acetone. It was pretty harsh on the paint inside the trailer, so I wanted to be careful not to hit the exterior. However, it ripped right through the decal and then right through the silver paint. Oh well, back to the drawing board. This was how my Matchbox Major Pack M2B pairing was looking. Both cab and trailer were patchy in terms of paintwork. The transparency on the Bedford in particular was very dull and cloudy looking. The trailer was the worst of the pair, missing a wheel and both of its back doors, plus its decals were mostly absent. The trailer body was also a bit on the wonky side. But let's see how it's straightened out. It took a bit longer than it should have done, but this major pack has seen a major improvement with its new paint, new decals, and new wheel and doors. The cab transparency is polished up very clearly. The orange and silver paints both look like close matches to Lesney's shades. The Steve Flowers Model Supplies reproduction doors are good quality and fill that gap nicely. The same goes for the replacement trailer wheel. As for their trailer decals, well, I just wish they were a bit more receptive to a clear coat. I've had this problem on a few occasions now and it's getting a bit frustrating, especially as the cost is higher than those from Black Square. I admit, I prefer the designs of the Model Supplies decals, but the tyre is more accurate on the Black Square set. Let me know your preference down in the comments. But all that leaves me to say is thanks for watching and I'll see you again for the next one. Bye for now.